Hello everyone, welcome to the Complex Perspective. This is my very first video, so please comment, rate, and subscribe. Today we'll be talking about Black Lives Matter and replying to some statements made regarding BLM. Let's take a listen.
A lot of money.
But corporations have given an enormous amount of money in the tens of millions or maybe hundreds of millions to Black Lives Matter.
Because they're weak.
Which is all over a lot of these protests. So what does that mean about these corporations? Why are they paying that money out, Mr.
Because
President?
they're weak people, led by weak people, in many cases, not all corporations.
What does that mean, they're weak
I looked
people?
at numbers where one company is giving hundreds of millions of dollars.
When you say they're weak, what do you mean? Explain
Because
that.
they just do what's the easiest path. That's not the easy path. That's a very dangerous path. Black Lives Matter is a Marxist organization.
Taking naps, taking dirt naps. But beyond that, what has BLM done for Black America? Name me one. Name one thing. I'll wait. I'm going to turn it to a skeleton waiting on you to name one thing that BLM has done positively for the Black community. Nothing. I'll help you. Nothing. What have they done positively for America? What goals and aspirations do they have that benefit America? Not just benefit a small group of American socialists or Marxists, but what are they doing that will benefit America as a whole? Nothing. I'm not going to waste your time. Nothing. They have nothing. None of their principles. None of their actions.
Before we can have a meaningful conversation, first it is important that we make a clear differentiation between Black Lives Matter, the social movement, and Black Lives Matter, the civil rights organization. Patrisse Cullors, Alicia Garza, and Opal Tometi founded the Black Lives Matter Global Network following the acquittal of George Zimmerman for the murder of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin in 2013. Since then, a global movement emerged, and the Black Lives Matter hashtag has been used to call attention to cases of police brutality all around the world, and hundreds of activist groups have been formed. The movement also includes unorganized citizens like you and me. The movement gained momentum in 2014 when 18-year-old Michael Brown was shot and killed by a Missouri police officer. But this year, the movement hit its peak when George Floyd was killed by police officer Derek Chauvin. The Black Lives Matter organization has been criticized for what some call extreme left-wing stances. Specifically, the What We Believe section of the BLM website details how they plan on dismantling patriarchal practices, disrupting the Western prescribed nuclear family structure, and they also identify as a queer affirming network, which may be problematic for some conservatives. The Black Lives Matter organization founders have also been heavily criticized after co-founder Patrisse Cullors revealed that she and fellow organizers were trained Marxists. Take a listen.
In part because of the co-optation and the appropriation, that a more clear ideological structuring might be of some value here. But how do you respond to those kinds of, again, loving criticisms?
I think that the criticism is helpful. I also think that it might, I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories.
You see, Marxism is basically the opposite of capitalism, the society that we live in now. It is problematic because, generally speaking, wherever Marxist principles have been practiced, life has become worse for the citizens. Black Lives Matter has also been condemned for their methods of protest. Many people have been injured or even killed. For example, David Dorn, a retired police captain, was fatally shot by an individual looting a pawn shop. This incident occurred during protests over the killing of George Floyd. Also, Sequoia Turner was also unfortunately shot and killed after a gunman opened fire on her mother's car after she drove through an illegal barricade set up by protesters. Still, it is important to acknowledge that violent protesters may not be a part of BLM organization, and many protesters do opt to use more peaceful and more effective means of protest. But the question is the end goal any closer to being within reach after everything that has happened so far? Well, the movement has racked up a number of accomplishments. The BLM movement led Anita Alvarez, the former state's attorney for Cook County, Illinois, to lose her re-election bid after she charged Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke with the murder of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald 400 days after the teenager was shot 16 times. Alvarez charged the officer less than a day before graphic video of the shooting was made public. Van Dyke was ultimately convicted of aggravated battery with a firearm and sentenced to 81 months in prison. They also helped unseat Angela Corey, the former Florida state attorney, after she failed to convict Trayvon Martin's killer, George Zimmerman, while prosecuting Marissa Alexander, a black woman who didn't hurt anyone when she fired a warning shot to scare her abusive ex-husband. And in Ohio, Timothy McGinty lost his seat after his decision in the police-related shooting of Tamir Rice, after he announced that no charges would be brought against the police officer who shot Tamir within seconds of arriving at the scene. More recently, Black Lives Matter protests brought attention to Breonna Taylor's death, a 26-year-old who was reportedly shot 8 times by police officers in her bed in her own home. The Louisville mayor announced that Breonna Taylor's family would receive a $12 million settlement, the largest amount connected to allegations of cop misconduct in Louisville history. BLM is also responsible for Juneteenth entering the national consciousness. Juneteenth is a day that commemorates the end of slavery in the U.S. Many companies have come out announcing that they will be observing Juneteenth as a company holiday, and New York Governor Andrew Cuomo marked Juneteenth as a paid state holiday. These are just a few examples, but the movement's measurable impact on the political and legal landscape is undeniably growing. So what do you think? Do you support the BLM organization, smaller organizations, neither, or both? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching.